Hey, and welcome to All Things Podcasting, where we will be giving you an inside look at how to launch, grow, and manage a podcast. If you've been dreaming of starting a podcast but don't know where to start, or you have a podcast and you're looking for the best and most productive growth strategies, then this podcast is for you. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking all about our 2023 plans, kind of how 2022 went, what we've learned, what we're planning for 2023, and how we're going to execute those things and make sure we get everything done without going crazy. In 2022, we transitioned from having multiple programs, one to launch your podcast, and it was completely DIY self study, and then having a membership that was more like group coaching style. And we were doing things, teaching them how to repurpose their podcast content, do a YouTube channel, turn all of their content into other marketing pieces like TikToks and social posts and all of those things. And we kind of like were figuring out that people were in the wrong programs. People were just signing up and then they would get into the membership and didn't have a podcast launched yet. Or there's just a lot of different things going on that we felt like things weren't really lining up and we weren't serving you all in the best way possible. So in 2022, we combined those things together and created the Macro Marketing Mastermind, right? So that contains all of our trainings. It's like you pay one time and you get access to basically everything that we internally create. JV partnerships and stuff are a little bit different depending on what deal we have with those people, but you get everything that we create internally. So that is great. But then we started to realize again that there were people in there that didn't need every aspect of what we were offering. So the biggest thing that we are changing in 2023 is, and I promise I'll get into the nitty gritty of like how I figured out what I'm going to do and how we're going to implement all these things. But this is like a huge shift that we're doing. So what we're going to do in 2023 is we are still keeping the Macro Marketing Mastermind. We're going to keep all of those things. You can get access to all of our trainings by just, enrolling once, being part of our community, group coaching, all of that. But we're also going to be breaking things down smaller. So for our people who are just getting started, just need one piece of the puzzle to get the ball rolling, we're going to have kind of like a product suite available for the people who aren't ready to enroll in the mastermind, aren't ready for a group coaching program, or just kind of want to test the waters. So that is like one of the biggest things we're doing. We are also adding in JV partnerships with some of our connections from the online space, basically showing people how to really leverage their content, getting more feedback from people outside of me and Shannon, their experience, their expertise. So we're like combining all those things together so that we are able to bring to you all from the perspective of macro content, of having a podcast, of having a YouTube channel. How do you get the most out of those things? How do you really leverage them? So we're going to be bringing you all of those things as well. And if you have an idea for a JV partnership, reach out and let me know. So basically, that's like the overarching what's happening next year. We also have some really cool things that I cannot disclose yet because they are still in the works. But there's going to be a lot of cool things coming from our point, from like automation that we're going to have available for you all. It's going to be really amazing. For our 2023 plans, basically what I did, and I'm like looking at my doc that I did on here. My monthly breakdown is going to be week 1 of every month. I'm going to work on my ongoing projects. This is recording podcast episodes, doing our basic social posts, getting all those out, doing emails, all of those things that I have to do as part of the business, no matter what. We all have those things that are kind of ongoing tasks, and we have to spend some time focusing on those. So week 1 is going to be focused on catching up on all those ongoing tasks of each month. So like the first week of January, that's what I'm going to be doing. And then the next 3 weeks of that month are going to be focused on a sprint. So there's a lot of people who do like 90-day sprints. I like to do just 3 weeks so that I can break the sprints down more precisely and really hone in on one subject and not like make it too broad and feel like I don't have a clear focus. And I'm only going to do calls this year on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from 1 until 2:30 because that is the gap between preschool pickup and elementary school pickup. But I'm gonna really try to narrow down the days that I do calls so that I can really focus on my work, whether it's for ongoing projects or the sprints that I wanna do, and also, like, have a clear time for calls so I'm not, like, trying to schedule things and it's all crazy. Okay, so for these sprints, basically what I did, like, to decide what my sprints were going to be is I just made a list of, like, here's all of the things that I want to do this year, right? I wanna do micro products and break down all of our products into a product suite, and I wanna do a focus with you all on one of those a month. So in the group, I'll be doing lives and giving you guys kind of a sneak peek at those things, and then you'll have the option to purchase at the end of the month. And then I wanna create an evergreen funnel and do a new webinar. I'm gonna be creating an e-magazine for our members, of the Macro Marketing Mastermind. I wanna do a pod funnel or a capsule podcast, which is basically 12 episodes that really goes into what we do and isn't so much of an interview style as like our podcast is now. I wanna do 12 months of emails that are, kind of a reoccurring kind of thing. As soon as somebody signs up on the email list, they'll have 12 months similar to the pod funnel. They'll have 12 months of emails that'll just go to their inbox once a month. The JV partnerships, updating the website, being more active on Pinterest, launching the membership again, being a guest on podcasts, doing a Black Friday sale for next year because I did not do that this year. And then I wanna do a launch of the membership again in December that also includes some, like, really intense coaching involved. So I basically did, like, a brain dump. Here's all the things that I want to do for next year, right? And then I kind of, like, went through and I was like, "Well, I need to do this first, and this needs to fall later in the year," and just kind of, like, copy and pasted and plug those things in where I felt like they should be. And then I started assigning months to them. And this is where it got kind of tricky and I had to move things around again. So basically in December, we're going to do a big end of the year Black Friday sale. Or it's not a Black Friday sale, but similar to that. So we're going to do an end of the year sale that's going to kind of throw us into these, breaking down the product. So if there's something that you guys have seen us do that you were like, oh, I really just want that piece, let me know because I can include it in this end of the year sale. Then in January, I'm gonna work on breaking everything down into micro products because that kind of goes in and tells me what all of these other pieces are going to look at. So as you're like planning out what these sprints are going to be and where you're going to place them, make sure you keep that in mind. Is January going to affect March, or do I need to do like what I have in March first? So the task for January makes sense. So you kind of have to like think of it in that terms. Like you need to do those tasks that are going to affect the rest of the year earlier, obviously. So I basically just went through and assigned a month to all of these tasks. So I have our whole 2023 sprints planned out. And then I have it broken down into quarters. And I also have my income goals for those quarters next to it so that I'm able to like quickly and easily keep track of where are we? Did we accomplish the sprints we need? How is the revenue for the business looking? Do I need to adjust some things and throw in some more launches? How are these micro products selling? Are they helpful for people? What's the feedback I'm getting? So all of these things will be adjusted as we go. But this gives us a really good plan and a clear execution so that we don't go through the whole squirrel thing. I feel like this year I was very, what is this over here? And what can we do? And how can this be more helpful? And this year I really want to focus on staying really clear, giving you guys what you need and not just constantly being like shiny object syndrome. What's this over here? And I could do that. And that person's doing this. And that's really cool. I just really want to hone in, focus on the things that work and stick to it. And that's really like from the years that we've been in business, that is the biggest thing is finding what works and sticking to it. And sometimes you have to stick to it for a while before you can determine what's actually working and what's not. So I would love to hear from you all in the comments. What are your plans for next year? How are you going to implement those things? Do you do 90-day sprints? Do you do 30-day sprints? Do you like have a focus for each week? What are you doing? I'd love to hear. Always learning. And then also let me know if there's any of these pieces of trainings, like Do you just want to know like how to submit your podcast to platforms? Do you want cover art templates? Do you want scripting for success all by itself so you can script your intro, outro, trailer? Do you want to learn how to set up your YouTube channel? Do you want to learn how to repurpose your videos into TikToks? Where are you at? What do you need? Let me know and we will bring it to you. I hope that you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend and happy December. There's 1 month left in the year, so let's make it count. Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of All Things Podcasting. If you enjoyed this episode, then hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so that you'll never miss an episode. This podcast is for you, so be sure to reach out and let me know what you thought about it. You can DM me through Facebook or Instagram, where I also share valuable content, or you can find me in our Facebook group. Just search for All Things Podcasting in the search bar. I can't wait for you to join us next week for the latest episode of All Things Podcasting.